Wayne Shuttleworth, New Westminster. Shuts.
Shots?
Shuts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Being born in New West, lacrosse was, the lifeblood of the community probably in a lot of ways.
It was, along with soccer,
Soccer as well.
like the Royals, Dominion Cup champions, Westminster Royals.
Okay.
And I played with all those guys.
As well, you played soccer?
I played in their off season. They played in the summer,
Okay.
and then they played during the winter at Sapperton Park,
Okay.
and in a third division team.
Okay.
But I played with 3 Scottish internationals on that team, and
So you were a soccer player as well, huh?
yeah, I
Wow.
was a soccer player. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I only took up lacrosse when I was 18.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking in
picked up
my
this-
mind, I thought you were, right from the minor all the way through that
No,
way.
I got interested in it, and I worked. My ethics in practice is just like I have done in golf.
Yep.
Is playing with the stick every day, bouncing the ball,
Yep.
coordination.
Yep.
And I did the same thing with golf.
How did you get drawn into lacrosse if you like usually you either get in when you're 5 or maybe like 12?
Well,
You know what I
it's-
mean? Like
It's interesting. I like the hockey team that Westminster Bruins had, rough and tumble,
yeah.
and that was sort of my style. When we used to get in brawls with Lobans and that in junior, my first year, junior lacrosse. In junior lacrosse.
Oh, okay, lacrosse.
But I did think I was sort of, they had to tone me down
Yeah.
because I was a little bit too aggressive. I was really absorbed in the aggressiveness of the game.
Yeah.
I just loved that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it drew me. I remember guys going to a junior game and players would chase fans up in the stands. They'd go over the, and they'd chase, people that may be throwing stuff on them. But it was exciting. And back then, the crowds they drew in junior, and then of course, look what happened in senior. When all those kids in junior come out, and now we're playing senior. Well, they wanted to see what was going to happen, how it was, all this was going to progress on the floor.
Who got you to come to lacrosse? Is one guy pull you in, or how did that happen?
I don't know. I just picked it up. I just got interested in.
You saw some games at Queen's Park, or
Oh
whatever?
yeah, between hockey, I played hockey, junior hockey in New West, and of course, lacrosse. Right in Queen's Park.
Yeah, the wood
The
floor.
bed of hockey and lacrosse. So, and I was in the Queen's Park area. I've always lived in the Queen's Park area, and of course,
So you're right there all those years,
all the
but
time.
hadn't jumped in.
all the time. Yeah. No, it
So
was-
when you came out, though, you must have been so far behind. Stick-wise, you must have been behind.
I'm blessed with hand-eye coordination.
So before you came out, you got a stick at some point and just worked on it for a while, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My hand-eye, like I say, it's really exceptional because even now, I can do things like with golf, what I do with golf and everything. It's and I had it back then. Like I took tennis lessons when I was 12, and I played little league baseball. I played everything.
Yeah.
So, my balance, coordination, I guess it was all meant to go towards a junior career in lacrosse or whatever.
So are you 80 now, or
83.
are you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still playing golf 3 times a week, so
That
I
keeps
guess
you-
there's something to be said. Fresh air, exercise.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
getting out, that's right. So you came to lacrosse, it was junior level that you came to, and were there a couple of different levels of junior that, did you go to a lower level then work your way up, or how did that all?
Jake Frizzell, who was they owned the Russell Hotel. They sponsored the Pastimes. He owned the Pastimes Card Club. Jake and Jack. Jake Frizzell, Jack Butterworth. And they put all their money into junior lacrosse. And that's basically how they were financed and backed. and we got off to a good start.
Was there junior B and junior C though, or junior
There was
A?
there was juvenile A, and
Okay.
then junior.
So did you play juvenile A first?
No, that I was only
you-
17 or whatever then.
So you went right to junior A,
Yeah.
and you made the team like right off the bat, huh?
Yeah, and I remember, all the pictures that I go over, I always had the A on my sweater.
As a assistant captain, or yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But, really, at the time, that doesn't mean anything to a player. But
Well,
I
it's
go over-
leadership. It's leadership.
but I guess I go over all the pictures, and I wondered, well, how did I get the A on my sweater that year? How did I get? But it's just I'm really sort of overwhelmed with that, and I don't know what I did to be blessed with that honor, but
Well,
and actually it wasn't a backup to the captain really, other than it's just your figurehead more or less.
Yeah. Well, you
I'm really pleased that all these pictures that I see, I had an A on my sweater. Even when I played with Jack Bionda, I had the A on my.
you played with Jack, did you?
Oh God, yeah.
And against Bobby Allen. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you guys
Absolutely.
saw a real era of that was a real era
Tremendous.
of the game. Yeah.
Arguably the best lacrosse player that I ever played with,
Is that right?
Jack Bionda. Bobby Allen was a close second, I might say. Bobby Allen was like Guy Lafleur in Montreal, in hockey.
Is that
He'd
right?
shoot from the boards, low sub shot into the far corner. Of course, Bionda was noted for waving the stick around and never knowing where the ball, what side the ball was coming from. He was tremendous.
He put on a halftime show I saw when he was still alive, probably a year before he passed away. He passed away pretty early.
Love to have seen that.
And it's just him with a stick and a ball,
Oh, man.
and in the middle of the floor between periods or
Amazing.
halftime or whatever. And it was unbelievable what he did out there.
I was talking to
windmilling it and everything.
Talking to my son this morning about that, and what he did with the stick. Well, he had to have a deep pocket.
Yes,
He didn't have a pocket at all.
that's
It
unbelievable.
was just incredible.
Yeah, talk
What
about
he did,
Yeah.
and all the training. I guess all the years that he spent in Boston as a hockey player, he learned to go in the corner and avoid checks.
Yep.
He just bend over, crouch over like this, and you would, to try and cross-check somebody that's bent over, you can't do it. You got to go over them like this and down. But he just moved one side or the other, and he was invincible.
He came up with the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Doing it
Just-
that way.
He had all the moves for a big man.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't know, you probably don't remember, but he walked up the floor in Queen's Park.
Well, there was no shot clock back then.
No shot clock.
Yeah.
Walked up the floor, and the crowd was just in anticipation.
Is that right, huh?
It was just incredible. The electricity in the arena
Is that
when he
right?
had the ball. Oh, it's just,
Wow.
and all the players on the bench. I mean, we all absorbed it. We were just energized by it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Pretty
really neat.
So you went to junior A, and how many years did you play junior A?
I played, I think, 1 year.
1 year before you were over age or whatever?
And then I got picked up by the junior Salmonbellies. I must say, the past times we beat the Salmonbellies 10-8 that first year, and first time they'd been beaten. Well, I got 3 goals that game. We won 10-8.
Wow. Yeah.
So then I enjoyed, the next year playing regular.
So that was still junior A, or was that senior?
Junior A. 60 was the year last year in junior. And
So junior isn't junior A?
junior A.
Okay, junior A to
Yeah.
start. So you played a couple years in junior A, or
I guess a year and a half, something
Oh,
like
okay,
that.
okay.
Yeah.
And then you
pastimes, and then my qualified year to senior was 1960,
okay.
and I got cut. Keith Jackson and myself got cut from New West, and we went to the Carlings.
Oh.
Played in Kerrisdale.
Oh, okay.
And I won the Mann Cup with Vancouver Carlings
Did you?
in '61.
And did you have to go back east to play that, or were you
Yeah.
hosting? And
Yeah,
who did you play back east?
we played Peterborough, and I
Okay.
believe that was in a final. But they had so many good teams back there.
Up in Peterborough?
Yeah,
Yeah, that would
Tremendous.
that would be an easy place to win a Mann Cup.
not at all. No,
So you played for the Carlings. How long did you play for them?
I wound up 2 years, and then I came back. I got in the fire department in '63,
Okay.
and then I was a Salmonbelly after that.
From what I remember from other interviews that we've done over the years, there's always been a strong connection between the Salmonbellies and the fire department.
There are
It seemed like there were a number
definitely has, yeah, embedded. Yeah.
which probably helped the situation with trying to deal with your workload.
Well, management, management, the reason I got cut from junior was management had a strong eye, like a vigilant eye on the talent, right?
Yeah.
And who they were going to have on the team next year. So, and they were generally chiefs in the fire department, and
Right.
Jack Fulton and
I remember doing Jack Philton.
Harry McKnight. So
Okay.
they were in control, and they were weighing the talent
Wow.
the whole time.
Wow. Wow.
So, unfortunately, Keith Jackson and myself paid the price for that qualifying year. And but I sure loved playing in Kerrisdale.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the Carlings. I played with so many great players.
What were some of the players that you
Oh,
played?
yeah, I'll just mention a couple here. Freddie Usselman, Ted Hunt, great rugby player. I mentioned his name before.
Yeah.
But Don Hamilton registered a shutout game in goal.
Oh, really?
I think there was only been done twice. Tom English, Billy Chisholm, Peter Black, Bob Babcock, Bobby Marsh, who went on to coach the Adanacs, and Alfie Brenner, who went on to referee, be a main referee. Alex McKay, Vancouver fireman. John Servey. These are hallmark names. I mean,
Yeah.
they were.
No, I've heard a number of them, and I didn't even play box lacrosse.
They're
but I've heard.
familiar names, yeah.
Did you have any indigenous players on your team back then, or
Paulus.
Paulus?
Paulus was there. I don't have him, like he was on the island playing.
Okay.
Yeah. I played against him, I would assume, a couple of years.
Yeah.
But he was a younger player coming up. Yeah.
And like the North Shore program didn't start till a lot later
A
on.
little later, yeah. We had Stan Joseph, who was in goal, and you know that name.
Yes, I
that's
know
a
that.
hallmark name.
Yes.
And that was really enjoyable. Whether it was on the bus going to away games or whatever, it was always interesting with Stan.
You won in '61. You won the Mann Cup. Then I think you played at Coquitlam at some point, didn't you? Or
1971.
yeah, and Jim Aitchison told me you won the scoring title that year.
Right.
Yeah, you guys had a system worked out. It was almost like the modern offense-defense system or whatever.
Well, that 71 team, Bobby Marsh coached that team, and it was a hallmark year for me.
And they had lured you back. You weren't going to play, right?
That was a professional year. I don't know if you remember that professional year that we entered into, and we played out of Portland.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I remember briefly, like they had the Detroit team back then. I think.
That's in '68. That's who we played in the final.
Oh, okay.
That was New Westminster.
Oh, US played Detroit. Yeah, I do.
We
I
beat
do
them in
remember
7.
hearing about that. Didn't Jim Bishop coach that team
Exactly. Yeah.
in '68?
Yeah. And they turned 500 people away from Queen's Park in that final game.
Wow.
And,
Wow.
We beat them, beat Detroit.
It must have been a heck of a.
So I've lost my ring, a World Lacrosse Championship ring. It's a neat ring. I was going to try and wear it today, but I've misplaced it somewhere.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's cherished.
Yeah. That was it was interesting how they had the pro league started. I knew a guy, Freddie Greenwood, from back east, who
I know
played
the name, yeah.
in '78 with us over in England for Canada, and Freddie, I think, played at that time for were they the Olympias or something?
Yeah, I'm not
Detroit Olympias?
too familiar with what it was.
So you had come up in, was it 57 you got to play junior? And you went to 71 basically, right? That was your...
No, it wasn't. It was actually, I was picking up a stick in 59 and then 60.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't have the luxury of that many years.
You didn't have
so
the luxury of that.
1 year pastimes, and then of course I got picked up in the final with the Salmonbellies, and
Wow.
but like I told you, we beat them, that pastimes beat Salmonbellies at 10-8 that one game,
Yeah.
and then I was picked up by the Salmonbellies the next year.
Yeah. Why did you give up the game? Were you physically beat up?
No,
Or-
no. I know at the time I was wondering why star players during a playoff were taking vacations.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
that didn't sit too good with me. Like, why you go into a playoff and you got to get the star player taking time off because he's on holidays.
Yeah.
Put that aside. I mean, we're trying to win a championship.
Right.
So I had to-
priorities.
Yeah, and I thought that the priorities were a little mixed up with certain individuals, and
Okay.
I'm not going to name them, but
Yes.
it didn't sit right, and so I just decided, no, I'm not seeing eye to eye with what they were doing. I didn't understand that at all.
I can see that. Like
Yeah.
you're willing to put the effort out, but you want equal
Well,
equal
95%
representation
of the
from
players.
everyone else.
Yeah, we're all trying to strive for the same thing. Now somebody's taking holidays. Oh,
No,
give me a break.
that doesn't go with the.
So
Yeah.
I made my point anyways, and didn't work out the rest of that year. And then when I did sign with Coquitlam, of course, we had a powerhouse team.
And when you came back, you led the league in scoring. Did you not want to keep going for a bit more after that, or was that like?
Not really. I was 30, I guess 36 or whatever
Okay,
it was,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
I know Parnell went forever, and
Yeah.
he had that drive. And I guess, though the saying is go out on top, but I don't think that was necessarily a driving force or with that
You
attitude.
had had enough, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just, I guess inside you know.
So when you play, like, what were the teams that you would play against? New West, Coquitlam, the Burrards, right? Vancouver Burrards at that point.
Timberman, the Nanaimo Timberman.
Nanaimo Timberman.
Victoria Shamrocks.
So would you go over and play a few games
We played
on the island?
every week.
Over on Vancouver?
Wednesday in Victoria, Saturday night in Nanaimo.
If you went over there, you got 2 games in at least.
No, that was separate weeks. So
Really?
Yeah.
Ah.
So the way it was structured, yeah. But it was a plane ride to Victoria,
Oh, okay.
a ferry ride to Nanaimo.
Oh, okay.
So we used to travel over with the professional wrestlers.
Oh, yeah.
Saturday night rugby. I remember all those names. I won't bore you with them, but it was really a pleasure getting to know all those wrestlers.
Is that right?
And you should have seen those guys eat after wrestling and coming back on the ferry. Man, they'd eat food like it was going out of
keep the
style.
bulk up,
And,
right?
Oh God, they were huge men.
Yeah. The fans you'd get for lacrosse were big at that time, weren't they? Yeah.
Well, especially that year in '71 with Detroit. But we had a steady, packed house, really.
Yeah.
Well, if you were there to see Bionda or Parnell, Sepka, I'd like to mention that line, Sepka, Parnell, and Tom Korchuk. And Tom Korchuk doesn't get his true dues in reputation,
Okay.
but he used to get the loose ball in the corner for Paul and
Well,
Cliff.
which is what it.
Paul and Cliff are notorious
Yeah.
lacrosse players. They're famous.
Yeah.
And that third party, and
Someone's got to get them the ball.
somebody's got to give them the ball, and Tom Korchuk did. And there was a book put out, and I know Tom wasn't given his fair dues. That's why I'm a friend of Tom's, and I just wanted to mention
set it straight, yeah.
Somebody had to give Cliff and Paul the ball, and he did an admirable job. He was a hard-nosed. He played hockey at University of UBC.
Okay.
Hell of an athlete.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Like Kerry Gallagher and Wayne Goss and Jerry Corp, they lived at Queen's Park. They were terrific skaters.
Yep. So a few years ago we did Wayne with his brother Ed, is it?
Yeah, Ed.
Yeah, it was really beautiful to see how the two of them worked together and how Ed helped him tell his story. You know, it was cool. You know, like, because he knew the story, and he let Wayne go ahead.
I saw that interview.
Oh, you did? Okay,
did.
yeah.
In '68, or at least, yeah, '68, he was just a complete star.
Yeah,
I mean, he was the horse that everybody got behind. You know, that game against Detroit.
Did you ever play in the era when the 30-second clock was introduced? Or was that all after?
All after.
So what did you think of the way the game was without the 30-second clock? Like, what were the good things and the bad things about that, I guess?
Well, there's two individuals, Jim Giles and Ken Winzowski, on the man short play.
Okay.
And they were as popular as the offensive players. They played the man short, the defensive part.
Had to run out the clock.
But they run out the clock. You couldn't catch them. Kenny Winzowski, they were just tremendous. Jimmy Giles, they were just tremendous.
It's like a cat and mouse game. Huh?
Yeah, you didn't. I mean, those were the guys that kept the ball away from the, man short.
And they knew how to use.
So
the
that
floor.
was a big part of the game back then. And I mean, you had to respect that. Because you knew how good they were as defensive players. But that throwing, going to center ice, going to center line, and then having to go off and change, that never sat good with me. I didn't understand.
Oh,
it took a lot away from the game.
Well, I know Bobby Allen's talked to me about that, and he just thought if somebody's going to do something to you on defense, you had the chance to get back at them, so it kind of policed the game differently because that person knew.
It's true, yeah.
And it kind of self-policed how, the amount of checking or whatever.
Well, no, everybody seems to think they don't want the star being the defensive player. Are you taking something away from the offensive players by showcasing defensive players? Not at all. I mean, that's part of lacrosse. It's like taking a shot. And an obvious shot, just to miss the goal and get the rebound. Well, that happened in, I guess, hockey also.
Do you have a game that you feel was like the most exciting game you ever played in?
Well, I guess that final game on the island in '68. And I wound up. I forget how many points I got that one game, 10 points or something. And I worked with Wayne Goss, and I wind up beating him out by 2 or 3 points for the scoring title. But
that game,
and those guys.
Was it the game you won 10-8, or is that a different score?
Oh, that was a different game. That was in junior.
Oh, okay.
Junior Salmonbellies. I was with the Pastimes.
So what was this game? What was this game?
This was the final game of the year on the island, and in Victoria, I believe it was. And Mike Gates, all those guys on that team, they fed me the ball, and everything went in. Whether it was an assist or a goal, it was crazy.
It just kept happening.
It just happened.
That's a magical feeling, huh?
Yeah.
And why can't you do it the next game like that?
Well,
exactly like that, right? Yeah.
Well, it's like golf. Yeah. The guy that shoots 64, he doesn't do that 2 games in a row, 2 days in a row.
No.
He'll shoot 71 the next day.
Yes. Yeah. So how about another one? That was a great game for you, and your team won.
That junior game when we beat the junior Salmonbellies, they were a powerhouse. you know, they just had the run of every game, and the pastimes, a gritty performance by all of us, and you know, we it was just like winning a title, beating them 10-8.
Yeah.
And that's a long time ago when you look back to a junior game like that. But it stands out.
Did you win a Mann Cup or a Minto Cup when you were with?
Yeah, I played with the junior Salmonbellies.
And you won the Minto?
Minto, yeah.
Okay, did they have a parade back here at all for you guys, or what happened when you got back?
Yeah. I don't remember the ceremony, but yeah, they definitely honored us, yeah.
And how about at the senior level? Did you ever win a Mann Cup at any time, or?
61 Mann Cup, 63, 65.
So you won a few.
Yeah. So, and then 68 was the World, but 61 with the Carlings. You know, we won.
And that was
the year that I got cut and went and played that first year in Kerrisdale,
and you won in Peterborough, right?
Yeah, we that was really rewarding. I got a good start in lacrosse with some wins like that.
Any of the other Mann Cups where you had to win back east?
The one, yeah, I'm not too familiar. I'm not sure. We were in Peterborough, and one thing they did do, the late Mann Cup final coincided with the hockey, the Maple Leafs training camp.
Oh, is that right?
And I remember they took us out into a outside arena, and they put boards over the ice and made us play a Mann Cup final on ice with
boards.
With boards and slipping and sliding.
Oh
and
my God!
It was really a disgusting way to treat
a national
Canada's national game.
Was that the year you won, or was that another time you were there?
Now, it's funny you asked that. I can't zero in whether we won or lost that. But in all circumstances, I think we might have lost that year. But that was played a national final played on ice back east.
Really?
And it was unheard of. I don't know if anybody's ever mentioned that. But,
no, that's the first time I've ever heard.
It was a mark against the Lacrosse Federation.
What year do you think that was? In the 60s or?
Yeah, the middle. I guess it was. Somewhere in the middle 60s.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Do you remember winning a Mann Cup out here?
When we won in Vancouver with the Carlings, I don't remember the opponent. You know, that's skips my memory. But.
Oh, but you were on like 3 or 4 Mann Cups, and you know that's something. You know.
It's lucky, I guess. Yeah, we had great teams.
Had you given up soccer completely?
Yeah, I in Kerrisdale, I played summer soccer, and I got shin splints running on the terrazzo floor, and I used to tape my shins up because the pounding on a hard surface, and that was the transition from running on a soccer pitch
on grass.
And then in the off season running on a hard floor.
Some cement floors or
terrazzo. There's no give to
terrazzo floor. Oh.
Kerrisdale was a wonderful place, and I'd like to remark on playing that year, and after the game, they televised all those games way back then. Well, we had the opportunity to watch the games on TV after we played.
That must have been interesting.
It was really interesting, and it really didn't last long, maybe a couple of years, and they never did it after that.
Didn't the CBC used to carry it?
Yeah, I believe they did.
I thought it was the CBC. I've seen old footage from games.
Did you?
On the CBC.
Yeah.
So but that's what it is.
I guess they didn't carry on with that, and just the one year that I really remember that happening. But
that was a big deal.
Yeah, it was. It was putting lacrosse, on the airwaves and making it important.
No, well, that helped spread the game a lot. I know from modern day how it works.
Publicity,
Yeah, the Toronto Rock used to air in the late 1990s to the early 2000s. The Toronto Rock aired their games. They bought the TV time and that made a big because they were winning.
Oh, sure.
So you add the two things together.
Yeah.
It caused lots of people to show up.
Yeah.
You know, to the gardens.
Talking about
Gardens.
that, I mean, expanding lacrosse, the game itself. That year that they went professional, and the year that we wound up playing in Portland, they maybe they had the right idea. They had some good ideas, but it didn't unfold as a real the real solution. You know, like. But they were trying to forge ahead and create a. I'm embarrassed. My babysitter made more money than I did per game. I think we made $15 a game in that professional year.
Yeah.
And it wasn't all about the money, but you know, they were trying to upgrade it and put it on the map, you know, like it should be, and it just failed.
Right.
Because of the competition, I guess, with hockey, with all the other sports. And just like they ran into it back in Peterborough with the Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
You know, that arena that they were scheduled to play lacrosse, I think we played a couple games.
Yeah.
But then the training camp started and they booted the lacrosse players out. And it was a shame to see. But you know, when you compete with a national sport like hockey, like anything.
What else would you like to talk about the game?
It's been a enjoyable ride through the years that I did play, and I think in that context, I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. You know, you come out of junior, and I did start late and accomplish things that through athleticism, I guess, and played with so many good players. I mean, all the soccer players I played with, we used to go to Seattle and play finals down in Seattle with the Westminster Royals, the nucleus of Westminster Royals, and you know, in that winter league.
Yeah.
And of course that's when they were Dominion champions. And like I said, I played with those Scottish internationals, and they taught me to square the ball. And, you know, I played center forward, and we played against the Hungarians in Queen's Park. And
so between soccer and lacrosse, you got a great athletic career.
I met all those guys in Vancouver Carlings. We played together, soccer and lacrosse all year. Played together. So it was really a neat thing that I did get to go to Vancouver, and it wasn't the same in New West as far as soccer, because we played at South Memorial, 41st. You know, like all those Vancouver Carlings, most of them played soccer too. So it was a lot of fun. Met a lot of athletes that were really world class.